Gonna play good cop, bad cop?
Bad cop, Robocop.
He's undoing what we did to him.
Hi everyone, Tony from Hack the Movies here with...
How you doing, Anthony?
Yeah, you might know him as Renfield from Mummy Cop.
Yeah.
Anyway, we're really big fans of Robocop. As a matter of fact, this trilogy box set belongs to Anthony, and I haven't returned it in 6 years. This is your trilogy box set.
Dude, honestly, I own like VHS copy, special edition copy, Blu-ray copy, and honestly, this one.
Remember, I lost it for so long. I had to buy you the first one again, and then I found the.
I'll be taking this when I leave.
Anyway, we're huge fans of Robocop. I've watched it since I was a little kid. One of my favorite movies.
Definitely.
Come quietly or there will be trouble.
Ah, fuck you!
So, Anthony, what's the story in Robocop 2014?
Was there a story? I wasn't sure. Was there a story?
Yeah, it was all over the place, but
Yeah, I kind of got lost.
Oh, let's see. Okay, we've been through this a couple times now over the years. We've seen a lot of our movies we grew up with remade and ruined. Halloween was a big one for us. Yeah. We've seen like Alien vs. Predator, which ruined both series in one film. Just tons of terrible remakes. And, a nice segue into this, Nightmare on Elm Street, which the new Freddy Krueger is a bad guy in this movie.
Terrible.
This is the most sickening cash grab I've ever seen. Robots are big now.
Oh, yeah.
Between the Transformers movies and the Iron Man movies, movies about robots are even, like, they got, like, that, what was that shitty movie, Surrogates, or,
Was it Surrogates?
Or the Total Recall remake had plenty of robots in there.
Dread, but we'll get back to that. It's not a robot.
Dread, yeah, we'll get back to
Dread.
We'll get back to Dread. So, some studio exec was like, holy shit. Someone at Sony was like, we own Robocop. People love robots. Let's remake Robocop. But then some other genius was like, I got it. We'll make it like a modern day superhero film.
Oh my god.
We'll cast Gary Oldman because people like him in Batman. We'll cast Samuel L. Jackson because people like him in the Marvel movies. We'll cast Michael Keaton for people who happen to not like the Batman movie but still like superheroes that came... Because Batman came out in the 80s around the time of Robocop. And yeah, what they forgot to do was cast an actor who knew how to act in the part of Alex Murphy Robocop.
Pretty much, they pretty much were probably like, listen, we need you to act like a robot. And he's just like, yeah, I can do that because I can't act.
I'd put those guns down now if I were you.
Ah, fuck you!
I'm not gonna say they should have made it exactly like the original, because that would have been boring.
Yeah, right.
But I will point out why the original worked when it did something.
Right.
Okay, so this movie begins. We see that there are drone robots all over the world, except for in America.
Well, mainly in the Middle East, I guess somewhat, helping war, stuff like that.
Yeah, and they're showing the robots are policing something, and I guess the movie was trying to be, because the original movie was very satirical.
Right.
Like, they would cut to news things where they would, remember the original?
Yeah, which worked.
Yeah, they would cut to news things talking about how, like, across seas, like, horrible stuff was going on. At one point, they mentioned that a satellite shoots a laser and kills a bunch of people, and they kind of brushed it off. So, the beginning of this film, robots are patrolling some Middle Eastern country. I can't remember what it is.
Yeah.
And there's Ed 209 robots, which was
they brought
the failed prototype of the original.
Yeah.
And I thought this was gonna be their way of doing it, because in the original, what did Ed 209 do in his premiere in the original? He fucking killed.
It was a hell of a business meeting, pretty much.
Nick, I'm very disappointed. I'm sure it's only a glitch.
Clearly, one of the Ed 209 robots is going to malfunction and kill this whole village, which is what will lead them to go, oh, we need a human inside a machine. Because that was with the original. They're like, this robot didn't work, let's try this other program. No, the suicide bombers attacked them.
Yeah, which made no sense. It was just like a plot.
Yeah.
They could.
Well, I guess because they didn't want to be policed by robots, but I thought that would play into something. So
Right,
no. It doesn't get mentioned again until the last scene.
Yeah.
All right. Do you want to introduce our character? Tell us a little bit about RoboCop before he gets blown up. Alex Murphy and his partner Lewis. You remember Lewis from the original?
Lewis, come here when you finish fucking around with your suspect. Get on your feet.
Well, let's back up. Female partner would not work in this scenario because in this movie, Lois is not only not a female,
It's a guy.
It's a guy.
It's a guy.
That's basically.
There's one female person on the police force.
Right.
She turns out to be evil.
Yeah, which they don't explain, but we'll get to that.
Yeah. This movie doesn't want strong female characters.
Right. So basically, instead of Murphy in the original being, new to the city, new to the police station, whatever you be, he basically, I guess he goes undercover. I don't know. He's like, is he an undercover cop?
I guess. Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like he's kind of undercover. Like they're trying to figure out how military weapons have gotten on Detroit streets because I guess.
Yeah. And another thing, I know I'm jumping ahead here. I thought that was going to be connected to Omnicorp because, like in the original, Dick Jones is working with the crime lord in the city and uses him to pretty much manipulate stuff and whatnot. Right. So I thought clearly like the Freddy Krueger guy or Michael Keaton. Yeah. Nope, has nothing to do with that.
Not at all. Well, that's pretty much what the problem was with this movie. I feel like they were just like, oh, well, let's go with this. Now let's steer away from that. Now let's go to that. No, that would be good. Oh, that's a good idea.
It's all over the place.
Oblivious.
One thing I wanted to point out, what the hell was up with whoever played RoboCop's voice? Like, he sounded like, remember like early Channing Tatum movies where he would do like the whole, he would kind of do like the whole like urban. Like ghetto accent or whatnot.
Yes.
It just looked really... he does it. The guy playing RoboCop, he's all like, "Yo, man, ain't nothing." Or but then he never does it again throughout the rest of the movie. It's only in like those two scenes.
Right. Yeah. Exactly. Which is funny too, because like technically, I mean, when he gets eventually made into RoboCop, he still would have that. So then you would kind of have a RoboCop that's going, "Yo, man, this is you know what I mean?"
Yeah, and his whole character lacks personality.
Right. Exactly.
Which would be fine for a robot, but he doesn't act like a robot either. He's constantly struggling this inner turmoil. You know what? It felt like a vampire movie. It felt like a cheesy, girly teenage vampire where a guy turns into a vampire and he can't deal with his...
Yeah, the thing with this movie that I felt was just, like, they didn't know when to get to the point. Like, you see RoboCop movie... and you're expecting action right in there, like, you don't need a whole backstory of RoboCop. That's where this movie went wrong right off the bat. They went straight into, like, RoboCop, and we're going to make him black, and his whole, like, we got to make him, he's got to be humanistic, and we got to train him to be human. Like, no, like, you don't need that.
Like, and that was the thing. Like, again, this is what the original one did better. We got introduced to Alex Murphy. We got to know a little bit about him.
Exactly.
He got killed, turns into a robot, but, like, he has to, like, discover his humanity and stuff, but, like, this movie was, again, it was trying to be like Iron Man, so they did this whole thing where when he becomes the robot, by the way, does not get shot a million times.
Oh, we're gonna get
it was a car bomb.
Oh, God.
Like, the original movie, he dies, you see glimpses of them building him, boom, he's a robot.
That's all you need.
He's a RoboCop.
Exactly.
This movie does like a Rob Zombie's Halloween.
Exactly.
It spends so much time.
They think, like, the more information, the more we're like, oh, now I understand. But it's just like, no, it's so boring.
It is.
It's so boring.
It's so boring. They're trying to do it remember the first Iron Man movie?
Yeah.
It was fun. Tony Stark builds a suit, and then he's modifying it and testing out.
Right. But that makes sense, though.
Yeah, so they clearly wanted to do that, but the guy playing RoboCop is a fucking plank of wood.
Yeah, like...
And Gary Oldman, he can't be charismatic like Robert Downey Jr. It wouldn't work for his character. So you end up and then he never leaves the little compound. Like, they go, all right, we're going to have RoboCop do this test.
Yeah.
And then it's a computer simulation.
Yeah, it's just like, it makes no sense.
And, like, it's not fun. It's boring. It slows down. They go through so much detail explaining how his insides work.
Oh, God, that was...
The original. They got it done in one scene.
When you're at rest, you will sit in the chair.
Yes, I understand.
We can check his exact location at all times with one of these. How does he eat? His digestive system is extremely simple. This processor dispenses a rudimentary paste that sustains his organics.
Boom. Done.
Right, exactly.
This one, they're like, he's got to do this. Blah, blah, blah. We're going to open you up and show you what your organs are like.
Oh, yeah. So that's the scene that was really strange. I mean, obviously at the end, you see, he takes off his helmet. You kind of see he has human parts still in his face.
In the original film. That's to show that he found his humanity.
But this one's just like, right ahead. No, like, not only, let's dismember. Remember the scene? They're taking off all his limbs.
Yeah.
And all you see is his lungs expanding, along with his hand.
Yeah, that's...
His hand, the only thing that was alive was basically his trach up to his head, to his lungs, and then a piece of his hand.
And we were talking in the car, in a movie that explains so many details that don't need an explanation, they never explain why he keeps his human hand.
Was that supposed to be like a subliminal thing? Like, he's still human, but he has robot features.
Yeah.
Like, is that what they were trying to go with?
Like,
it?
they never,
it didn't make any sense.
Again, this movie has a whole scene dedicated to what Robocop should look like.
Yeah,
no mention to why he has a hand.
I know, exactly.
That's what I want to know. Why does he, especially when the original movie made such a point to show that hand blown up.
Exactly.
Yes.
Exactly. Is that what they were trying to like hold, like, I don't know, to its originality? It made no sense.
Yeah, and then, so it's like a superhero action film. He trains, and then he goes out and fights crime.
Just like there's just no act. I feel like they spend so much filming just bullshit scenes that make no sense.
And then the action,
so bad. It wasn't like
there's no stakes. He's shooting robots.
Right.
Don't care.
The one scene, the whole action scene was in the dark, which I don't know. If that's were they going for?
You know why? You know why? What's this movie rated?
PG-13.
PG-13.
Yeah. Remember when they put the lights on after he slaughters like 20 guys? Yeah. There's a bunch of bullets, but there's not a spot of blood anywhere.
It's kind of like the scene in the original where he goes into the coke factory. He massacres everyone. This one, it's all in the dark, so you don't really see people shot. When the lights go on, only one person is bleeding, so we know he's dead. Everyone else is totally just laying down. And by the way, Robocop barely kills anyone in this. No. He's constantly... this is like Batman.
Right.
Constantly tasering people.
He's just shooting random things out of his gun, and people are falling, and then this one is just like, not even the villain, it's like one of the villain's henchmen for somehow puts a bomb on his car while he's at home, and he goes outside because his alarm's going off, and the car blows up. And that's basically, like...
Villain is... I'm glad you brought up villain. This movie, the original movie, had Clarence Boddicker...
Right.
As the street-level crime lord, and Dick Jones.
Exactly.
We knew that they were the villains. And Bob Morton wasn't really a villain. He was just a dick. But, this movie, okay, so this is the guy who kills him. And we're like, oh, okay, maybe it's like the original, he's linked on.
Yeah.
He's just a random drug lord.
Random guy.
You kind of forget about him.
Yeah, that's the thing. They don't make any characters distinctive to where, like, oh, I remember, like, I understand this. No, like, it's...
I can't remember any character in this movie besides the big actors that I recognize.
Yeah.
The original movie. The black guy who's in all the meetings at OCP.
The guy
I know him.
Yeah, you just
know him.
Exactly.
I know every single villain in that movie. I know the girl with the curly hair with the big glasses.
I know Bobby, even though he flew out of the car for like 10 seconds of a scene. I know Bobby.
Can you fly, Bobby?
Clarence, no.
If you want to remake RoboCop, jump out a window. You shouldn't. But if you were, you could modernize this, and they did it a little bit.
They tried with the, making
the news segments.
The news, which I'm
in
sorry,
the original,
I wasn't feeling Samuel Jackson at all. I really wasn't. I love him. I think he's awesome, but I hated him in this movie.
I see what they were trying to do, and I kind of appreciate it. Like Samuel Jackson plays this character, and he's basically like a Fox News personality. Like, he's so biased, and at one point he cuts off a senator in the comment. He's basically like, who's that asshole? Bill O'Reilly.
Bill O'Reilly, yeah.
And I want maybe to see more of that, or like, see that done.
See, that's the thing, though. Like, I kind of like cringed every time I seen it.
Yeah, because you know what?
It wasn't like, in the original one, they had that, but they were like original with it.
It was brief.
Yeah, it was brief, yeah.
There are so many scenes in this movie that go on forever.
Right. Oh, dude, we have to go to, when he first comes home as RoboCop. First
Oh
off,
my
First off, like,
God.
remember, like, in the original, RoboCop's RoboCop. He doesn't need to be going home to see his family.
Yeah.
Okay.
His family left, and that's what
Right,
made
and
you had a connection there. Like,
Right.
oh wow, his family left. I really feel bad for this guy.
Yeah.
And then the second one, he's stalking his family.
Yeah,
but that's a
but
different thing.
yeah.
That's a different movie. Yeah, but so this one, he can just go home at any time,
Right.
really.
Yeah, he basically, like, he's in the car. The guy, what was it? The professor or the guy that made him? I don't know what his name was in the movie.
His last name was Norton.
Oh, Norton. Yeah, Norton.
Yeah, not
Like, he
Bob
drops him
Norton.
off-
It was like
yeah.
something like Derek Norton
yeah,
or something.
like that.
Yeah.
But he drops him off pretty much, and it's just a very uncomfortable scene. Like, it's
It
weird.
is.
It doesn't
It's
belong.
awkward.
Like, you don't need like the guy who basically made you be like, go to your family. Like, it's weird. It doesn't make any sense.
And then after this, like, from this point on, RoboCop, he solves his murder, and I kept thinking, like, oh, okay, he's gonna link it to OCP, like the original.
Yeah.
I kept giving them the benefit of the doubt. It was just a whole bunch of
Yeah,
coincidences.
it's what it was.
Like, Michael
Exactly.
Keaton becomes the bad guy at the end.
Yeah, but that's the thing though. Like, in
It's
the
like-
original, you knew that was gonna happen, whereas like in this one, like, it just happened. Like, it didn't. Like, there was no
this
reason.
one, it's not even like it was a reveal that he was the bad guy. This one, he just kind of like, it's like Michael Keaton should have just been like, oh, I guess we're bad guys now.
Yeah, exactly.
He might as well, like,
Well,
he just...
the whole reason why they even became bad guys. The whole movie, you're like, okay, they gave this guy a second chance. They, whatever it was, and then all of a sudden they're like, you know what? Maybe him being so human can get us in trouble, and he can start telling things, and then that would undercover our whole
Yeah,
thing.
'cause-
And then it's like, really? Like, didn't you think of this before you invested
I know.
billions of dollars?
Well, the thing is, like, he finds out that the chief of police is dirty, and then they're like, politicians are worried that he'll be able to find them out and stuff. And again, that was kind of cool, but then it's just, again, it brushed under the table.
Exactly.
And, like, let's talk about Michael Keaton's plan here. All right. Again, I'm not saying they should have done what the original did, but this is what the original did, and it would work. Dick Jones builds a robot.
Right.
It fails. Bob Morton comes in, builds another robot, a product.
Exactly.
They make an effort to show you that Detroit is fucked.
Exactly. In this
Detroit
movie,
is
they
fucked.
didn't at all. They made no
And
connection with
one
it.
of the long-term plans of the OCP was to build Delta City, which is not mentioned in this. But they were like, yeah, we're going to build these things, and, like, it's implied that they'll eventually sell to the military.
Exactly.
This one, Michael Keaton,
he's well off.
he is fine.
He's fine.
He's got the whole world policed by robots. He can't get a bill passed in America to have robots in America.
They can have it
Where-
these like a whole entire country across the seas where they have Ed 209s,
Yeah.
droids, all kinds of shit, and then all of a sudden, like, one small city in Detroit.
Well, he
they
wants
have
it in America, and he's based in Detroit. Because, so many companies right now are based in Detroit.
Yeah.
By the way, if they had showed Detroit, like, as a violent thing, like, if they had showed any city, if they just showed America being real... Because the whole point, they're like, America needs to be safe, America needs to blah, blah, blah. But we don't know why.
Right.
Everyone seems to be
Exactly.
fine.
Exactly. And I don't understand the whole thing. Like, they went for a whole, oh no, like, their whole, like, reason behind it. They're like, no, it can't just be robots. He has to have emotions. Like, that's the but like, that's the thing. Like, in the original one, they just kind of made him. Like, it was RoboCop. Like, no one really knew what was gonna come of it, but he was RoboCop. Not like, oh, we need to make a droid, but he has to have emotions and somewhat humanistic features.
Yeah.
Because like that's it takes out the whole, like,
Well, they needed, like, very much needed, like, a brain that they could work with. Well, because Ed 209 was too sketchy.
I guess.
But this new one, it's just... Michael Keaton's fine. He's already got the military contract. What the hell? Like,
there's no
and, like,
reason.
and if they showed America was a nightmare, I would understand. But the Detroit in this movie is doing well better than the Detroit currently.
Definitely.
I wouldn't mind going to the Detroit.
Like,
in this
literally,
movie.
there's so many scenes of the movie which, don't get me started on the motorcycle because it just sucks ass. Like, it just doesn't work. It's for me. It's really just
it's like
I don't
Batman's.
know. But he's driving around the city, like, it's fine. Like, nothing. You know what I mean? Like,
and then it kind of felt like Sony produced this, so it doesn't surprise me. Kind of felt like a Spider-Man movie at one point. Like, you see people cheering for him, and they're writing his name.
But
and
that's the thing,
everything.
though. Like, if people are cheering and people are so happy for him, shouldn't you show, like, back that up? Like, in the original, like, backed it up. He's in the supermarket because someone's being held up. The girl's going to be raped, by the two guys and things like that. But
you know what he does to win over the city in this one? For his first introduction, he's drugged, which we'll talk about in a second. He spots a criminal in the crowd and then tasers him. And then suddenly everyone loves him.
Right.
Everyone. They want to suck his dick.
Yeah.
Because he shot a guy in a crowd.
Yeah, because it was a guy... there was police there that didn't notice this guy, but he noticed them in so odd minutes and arrested him. And now he's this big.
Here's another problem with the movie. Like I said about the original one, they made it was about basically all of society was losing their humanity in the original one.
Right.
Alex is a nice guy. He eventually turns into a robot, and then he becomes more human than the characters. Like, Bob Morton is an awful person.
Right.
Dick Jones is only powered by greed. There's no humanity in any of those characters.
Exactly.
That's kind of like the cool thing. Like, this character who is a robot is more human than all of them.
Exactly. I mean,
This one, they wanted to try to do that. So, like, at one point, Gary Oldman removes something in his brain and then starts drugging him to make him seem more robot. But, like, you don't care because he acts so human throughout the whole movie.
Exactly.
There's only that little bit in the middle where he actually acts like a robot. So by the time he becomes a human again, we get annoyed because he can't act, and we have to see him acting shitty again.
Yeah, he really he really just.
He sucks.
Was this like his first like featured film?
No idea.
I've never seen them before.
I've never heard of this person before in my life.
Terrible. Because
I mean, apologies if he happens to be good in something else.
I don't know.
I doubt it, but because there were good actors in this movie that weren't doing a good job, like Sam Jackson. And,
like Samuel Jackson, like
Gary Oldman tries too hard, but Gary Oldman tries. But like whoever's playing RoboCop, I mean, he wasn't bad as the new Black Lewis, but
exactly. Like, it's
why would you get rid of the Lewis character? Like,
how
the character they made his wife. All his wife does is sit around and cry.
He has like video footage. Of like exactly where they're at.
Yeah. So the whole city's being monitored by TVs.
If the city's being so monitored with these cameras and they can catch these criminals in acts at any moment, then what's the point in even having them?
What's the point of having a robot?
What is the point?
Whatever computer you put in him,
just put it in a regular computer.
Put it in a regular computer.
It didn't make any sense.
guys. The TV just told
Let's
us
send
he's
our
over
cops
there.
into that location because that's where we're at. Like it didn't make any sense.
There's no need for a RoboCop.
No, there's not.
I wouldn't have passed that bill that they're trying to pass in the movie.
It's a major loophole in the whole thing.
The whole movie, Michael Keaton just wants to make people sympathize so he can get the bill passed so he can put robots in America for no reason.
Exactly.
Like, I mean, another reason to update, like, you could have updated this. Maybe there was, like, a terrorist attack, and that's why he maybe... We live in a post 9/11 world. You could have done something with terrorist attacks. And that's why he feels like the same.
You could have modernized. You definitely in the amount of time they had like to film it and the amount of technology we have now, they just literally threw it in just a big hole. Like it just bombed. Like they didn't. Everything that they could have did right, they did wrong. Like everything.
And then the movie ends on just a really blah note.
Yeah, I mean the whole thing. I mean, as soon as he goes to OCP and he Michael Keaton and everything, it's like you're at that moment. It's not in the original you're like, oh my god, he's
finally getting his revenge. He's finally getting his revenge
on Clarence and all. Like characters actually mean something. And then like when you see him like going into OCP, it's just like when's the movie gonna be over?
Thank you for your cooperation.
RoboCop in the original, like he didn't jump. Obviously, he's solid metal. Yeah. And this one, he's jumping like over things.
I mean,
it's not like a major like.
At least he didn't put a jetpack on and fly like in 3. But
I'd watch 3 over this movie.
Oh my god, I would watch 3 any day. 3 is probably the worst, and I would watch that any day of the week over this. Don't fucking see this. This movie sucks.
Seriously. Go, even if you need to pick up an old VHS, just get the original.
We own multiple copies. Hang out with us.
Yes, I own.
We will show you.
It's
now, this is gonna sound a little weird.
Yeah.
Our next movie, we enjoyed the hell out of it.
It was.
It's also a remake of RoboCop.
I'll tell you what. I wish I can get my $16 iMac ticket back, and I would definitely put it towards watching this anytime.
Yes. Free right now, streaming online, is a full remake of RoboCop done by different filmmakers. Mostly websites like Crack.com does an entry, Screen Junkies do an entry, the director of Drive did like 5 seconds. We watched it tonight right after, to wash the taste out of our mouth, we watched this remake. Holy fucking shit.
Hysterical.
Hilarious. They did something like this with Star Wars a while back. But that one was like every 15 seconds was a new scene. This one is a little bit easier to follow.
Right.
So many talented filmmakers are remaking their favorite scenes from RoboCop, and it is amazing.
It is.
The story's
So
basically
fun.
the same.
It's exactly the same, and they even have little clips in it to make you to show you what the original scene was and how they remade it.
And it is so enjoyable.
It
it really shows you these people, they crowdfunded this.
Exactly, yeah.
They took time out of their day to make this, and so much better than what's in theaters right now.
Dude, the Ed 209 in the beginning when they first introduced Ed 209. I mean, it's funny because a person in a suit with the legs, but amazing.
Ed 209.
You can see his legs.
And then there's the one that I saw before I watched the whole thing where they do the famous scene where he shoots the rapist's dick off, but this time it's 50 rapists. Yeah.
Oh my
this
God.
time it's 50 rapists.
And he's just spinning in circles, and all you just see is penis is blowing up and splatter, and it's great. It's absolutely amazing.
It is a nice little love letter to the original for fans like us.
Exactly.
It's streaming right now online. You can watch it for free on Vimeo. I would say, fuck the theater.
Yeah, don't.
You know what? Go to the theater, bring your laptop, and watch this remake during the remake of
There's
RoboCop.
nothing literally you can sit at your house and watch this without paying a dime and enjoy it instead of going to a theater where you're going to pay money and watch something that's absolutely terrible.
Yes.
Unfortunately, we did it already for you, so you don't need to do it.
So just take our advice. Watch our RoboCop remake online.
It's great.
Don't bother with the new movie.
It's so funny.
It was awful. And let's see what quote we're going to leave out on.
Serve the public trust, protect the innocent, uphold the law.
That's a good one.
That's a good one.
All right, everyone. Bye.
Your